Hello, this is the last capsule video regarding the classroom management e-portfolio. This part is corresponding to the final reflection, in which I will be answering to 12 questions in relation to this period of practice in Forjores de Chile school. Well, first to ask to the I'm going to answer the first question, which is, what was your best moments in this semester and why? Well, my best moment in this semester, I would say that was the first 2 or 3 weeks in Forjor de Chile school, in which I was so participative. I was so motivated by going in another process of practice, and that motivation made me participate, to ask things to the teacher, to get well with my students. That is the most important part of being a teacher, your relationship with your students. I mean, it's not the most important part, but it's really important to get well with your students. For the second question, what was the most difficult situation you found yourself in this semester? How did you overcome this situation? um, the most difficult situation that we faced along with Macarena this semester in Forjado de Chile school was in our second week of classes, was the first time that we were giving a whole class to our students. And in that moment, students were not paying attention to us. They were misbehaving. They were not paying attention, were playing, chatting with each other. Um, in that exact moment, we couldn't overcome the situation. We couldn't do anything, because in my experience, it was the first time in which I faced students that misbehave, that do not pay attention to what I'm saying to the other teachers. It was so difficult to maintain the class quiet this time. But um, in relation to this class, I could improve how I am in front of the class. I have to be firm. I have to maintain a high voice volume, so my students can notice that I'm going to say something important, that I am in charge of the class. That's the most important part of that I learned this semester, that I have to to be a real teacher, and not just a practitioner. Now for the third question, what skills tips has this practice experience added to your tool belt? The most important skill or tip that we learned during this semester in class was or giving instructions. I was not concerned about how to give instruction to my students. Now I know that I have to use a proper vocabulary. I have to use examples to model the activity, to give examples. I already mentioned that, but to use examples to ask students. Um, that was the most important thing that I learned during this process, because it's the most important, is one of the most important. I'm saying the most important part to repeat it, but it's true. It's just what I can. It's just what I say for my experience. And fourth question: what class that you prepared are you the most proud of, and why? Mm, I mean, I would say that, for example, for the sixth grade, we just taught two classes. I would say, but with the seven, I would say that the the class that I feel really proud is the seventh grade, because at first sight, and teachers say that they were a really troublesome group, but in my opinion, it was a really good class. Students were concerned in the class. Are so participative. Although some students are very talkative, it's kind of difficult for them to be quiet in the class. But every one of them is participating. They are motivated with the class. It's not like some students that they don't like the class and they will not pay attention. They will be disrespectful with you. But I'm really proud of the seventh grade of this school. I get a lot. I get very well with them, and I am very proud of my students, of our students, because they are not my students. They are no longer my students. Five. Who is the student you will remember the most from this semester and why? Well, this question is important. I will mention that the students that I will remember during my during my whole life will be Antoine, a student from the seventh grade of this school. And this he's a student kind of troublesome, talkative. It's very difficult for him to be quiet, to pay attention in class. I mean, it seems that he's difficult to manage, but in fact, he is a very good student. He's participative. He defended myself in a few times. I already mentioned that he's participative. He works in class. He is concerned in the class. Wants he wants to be in the class to participate. He wants to be noticed by its teachers. Um, this is a student that I really feel identified with him because I was kind of similar when I was a student back when I was a student in high school or in primary school. And I feel really proud of him, of how he behaves, how he is, with his personality. It's very similar to how I was in the past. Now, six. What is something you learned from your guide teacher that you would like to imitate? Well, what I would like to imitate from my guide teacher from this semester is the way of he can manage the classroom. I mean, in the sense of he used popsicle sticks. This is a very good element that a teacher can use in class in order to know the names of his students, to keep them participating in the class. Also, I would mention that he's a very patient person. Even though students were misbehaving, is kind of screaming or running in the classroom, he always maintained the calm. And also, he's a very good teacher in terms of diversification. He prepared very good material for students, for every student, so every student can use the material that he prepares. And that's kind of amazing for me. He's very versatile. I don't know if it's the same in English than in Spanish, but he's a very versatile teacher. He teaches English, but he have kind of ability to get well with their students. That I don't know. He's kind of in his blood to teach, to be a teacher. And now seven. What is something you saw in education this semester that you would like to change? I don't understand this question at all. But I would say from what I understand from this question is that what I would change in education in this school is, for example, to keep teachers to keep a differential teacher working in the class along with the head teacher or with any other teacher that is in the classroom, because I could notice some students with special needs that they were kind of putting aside from the class. I mean, I mean, I mean not aside, but it was very difficult because, for example, I could mention Vicente. I mean, Mr. Claudio knows this student. From what I could notice in the classroom was he was sitting kind of alone, and not even the teachers would pay attention to him at any time. It was for me. It's a very important case that I would like to improve how I manage the class, how I manage the material that I prepare to give every student, even if they have a special need, I will prepare a very good material, a proper material to talk to him, to keep to be in her side, in his or her side. It's a very important thing that I would like to change to trust in your students. That's what I mean, to trust in your student and keep them working. And diversification is everyone is part of the class, not just a few students. Now, 8, look back on the goals you set at the beginning of the semester. Have you met them? What evidence do you have? What do you need to improve on? I don't know if it's another time. I don't know if this question refers to the goals that I set in the classroom or my own goals, my personal goals. But I will answer uh, as it were my personal talks. Mm, I would say that I met my goals that I set at the beginning of the semester. Um, because I could be calm in the class. I was calm. I feel very comfortable working in this school. I would like to repeat the experience of working in this school because it is very good. I would like to know more teachers, and I could manage to I could manage to give a proper instruction to my students. Although even though it was at the end of the semester, but the thing is that I could reach my my goals in this semester, and that's important for me. I feel proud, but I don't feel satisfied with what I don't feel satisfied at all because I think that I could do things better from the beginning of the semester. But it's good for me because I am still a student. I have to learn from my experience. Ninth, what type of school do you imagine yourself teaching in? I will have also I always have had the idea of working in a school like in a rural zone, Menke, for example, Rafael. I think that the students who need teaching more than the students who live in the city are the students who live very far from in rural zones. They need education, they need comprehension, teachers to work with them, and that's the type of schools that I imagine teaching in rural zones. People who really need teachers and they really need support, and I would like to be a support for those students who think that they are lost, that they don't have opportunity. I would like to give students the opportunity to fly, to be themselves, and to include in the society. 10. What are the strengths and weaknesses of your classroom management interventions regarding to BCM project? I'm going to skip this question because I really don't understand this part. I mean, I understand, but regarding the time, I'm going to ask just fast. Um, well, for 11 question, if you have the chance to implement one of your interventions again, what would you do to different and why? First of all, I would like to to prepare my class using another kind of material, more colorful, didactic material, maintaining our students working and motivated in the class. It's not the same as when you prepare an activity and it works, because an activity that works doesn't really mean that the students are motivated with you or really want to participate. For example, I can say that some students for the certain grades really wanted to play, or their motivation for working was, oh, at the end of the class, if you work well, we're going to play, or we're going to do something interesting apart from just the activities from the class. So that was something that I would like to do different in my classes, but it's okay. I'm still learning. I mean, in the next further of practice, I will improve everything that I did. I will reflect about everything that I did this semester, and I for sure will improve. You have it for sure, Mister. Okay, the last question is, what interventions did you find the most useful to be applied in your future teaching? Mm, the most useful intervention that we did was our second class on the seventh grade when we were teaching about the sports and like and dislike likes and dislike. No, I mean sorry, it was not like likes and dislike. It was differentiation of sports that use play, go, or do. It was an interesting class for me. I could we could have used another kind of material, more didactic, more colors, video activities where students could have to move. That are the things that using the sample of the activities that we created, the lesson plan that we created, we could improve it and create a better material that really is engaged, that really generates engagement to our students. That was I want to do. I want to engage my students in the class, that they are really participating, and they I really are really learning English language, because just to learn some chunks of English is not the same as learning the language in use. And well, that's the last video regarding this portfolio. And this was a very good semester for me. And well, goodbye. See you soon, Mr. Tolo.